discovery in Los Angeles has led to a police investigation on the West Coast. Authorities say they were called to an impound lot in Hollywood after someone noticed a foul odor coming from a car. The car, which was a Tesla that belonged to a singer and Queens native who goes by the name David, spelled with A4.
All right, guys, the David case, a story everyone online is talking about. And for a reason, it starts like a dream, but ends like a nightmare. It's a scorching afternoon in Los Angeles. At a busy impound lot, workers go about their day until something stops them cold. A smell. At first faint, then overwhelming, strong enough to bring everything to a halt. The odor is coming from one car, a Tesla. When the door is opened, the discovery isn't just shocking, it's horrifying. Inside, investigators later confirm, lies the decomposed body of a young girl, wrapped in plastic bags. Now here's where things get even stranger. Reports say the Tesla had been abandoned before being towed to the lot. And here's what turned this from a local tragedy into worldwide headlines. That Tesla was registered to rising star David. Police identify the victim as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a teenager who had been missing for months. Her family had pleaded online for answers, posted photos, begged anyone with information to come forward. For half a year, she was just another missing face in the chaos of Los Angeles. Until now. Imagine that contrast. On one hand, a family in despair, holding on to hope. On the other, a celebrity rising faster than anyone expected. And then those two stories colliding in the worst way possible, with Celeste's body turning up inside a car linked directly to David. The investigation kicks off immediately. Detectives swarm the lot. Forensic teams move in, and within hours the headlines start spreading. Body of missing teen found in vehicle registered to rising artist David. The internet explodes. Fans are in shock. Industry insiders are silent. And David himself? Silent too. Think about that. A young man who spent the last 2 years singing about heartbreak, loneliness, and romantic tragedy. Now caught in a very real tragedy. One that could end not just his career, but his freedom. And here's where the questions begin. How did this happen? What connection, if any, did David have to Celeste Rivas? Was he directly involved, or is he caught in a nightmare of circumstance? Nobody has the answers yet. What we do know is this: a missing girl has been found, her life cut short, and the vehicle that held her remains belongs to one of the music industry's brightest new stars. And whether guilty or not, that single fact is enough to shatter the clean, dreamlike image of David's rise. So buckle up, because this story is only getting darker. How did David go from a kid in his bedroom to the center of this storm? He started the way many Gen Z artists did, alone with nothing but a cheap setup, recording songs late at night and uploading them online. No studios, no big producers, just raw emotion and trial and error. In 2022, one of those experiments became a phenomenon: Romantic Homicide. A moody, lo-fi track that spread like wildfire on TikTok. It captured the heartbreak and angst of a generation. Breakup edits, sad montages, endless streams. The song turned him from an unknown teenager into a viral sensation. That momentum brought the industry to his door. Republic Records signed him. Festivals booked him. Suddenly, he wasn't just posting from his room anymore. He was on Billboard charts, opening for major acts, and performing in front of thousands. Brands followed close behind. Crocs, Hollister, and other youth-focused companies tapped him for campaigns, plastering his image across ads and social media. He became the face of Gen Z authenticity, relatable, emotional, marketable. By the time the scandal broke, David had been touring in support of his debut album, Withered. But the fallout was swift. Promoters canceled shows. Venues pulled his name from calendars. Sponsors quietly froze partnerships. What had been momentum suddenly collapsed into silence. And that's the irony. Millions embraced the kid who proved you could make it from your bedroom. Now, one shocking discovery in Los Angeles threatens to erase everything he built, reminding us how fragile that image of authenticity really is. Before the headlines, before the Tesla, there was just a family searching for their daughter. Celeste Rivas Hernandez wasn't a celebrity. She wasn't rich, and she wasn't on magazine covers. She was a 15-year-old girl growing up in Los Angeles with her whole life ahead of her. Friends described her as shy but kind, someone who loved music, hung out at the mall, and spent way too much time on her phone like every other teenager. She wasn't supposed to end up in a police report. In April 2024, Celeste went missing. One day she was at home, the next she was gone. Her family filed a missing persons report almost immediately, plastering her face across social media, begging for answers. Photos of Celeste circulated on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. A smiling girl with long dark hair suddenly reduced to a hashtag. # Find Celeste. But like so many missing children in a city as sprawling as LA, her case didn't make the front page. She wasn't the daughter of a politician or a Hollywood star. She was just another teenager who vanished in a city that sees thousands of runaways and disappearances every year. For months, the case lingered in the shadows. Her mother gave interviews. Her family organized small community searches, but no major breaks came. That's the tragedy of cases like Celeste's. Families scream into the void, but unless there's a dramatic twist, the world doesn't listen. And yet, people close to her swore something was off. She wasn't the type to run away. She had no history of disappearing, no record of trouble. Friends said she seemed distracted in the weeks leading up to her disappearance, maybe even scared, but nobody could say exactly why. That uncertainty left her family with a gnawing fear. Had she fallen into something darker? As months dragged on, hope began to fade. Candlelight vigils were held. Flyers yellowed on telephone poles. The hashtag slowed down. For the outside world, Celeste became another unsolved missing person. But for her family, the silence was torture. Every unanswered call, every knock at the door could have been the moment she returned. Instead, it was nothing. And then came September 2025. That Tesla, that smell, that discovery that would shatter not just one family, but the reputation of a rising music star. Think about what that means. A case that once barely made the local news is now headline material worldwide, not because the system suddenly cared, but because a celebrity's name was attached. For Celeste's family, that's a cruel irony. They wanted answers for over a year. Now they have one, but it comes in the worst way imaginable. Her body found, her story hijacked, and her name forever tied to David. The day the Tesla was opened, everything shifted. At first, it was just a grotesque discovery, a decomposed body left inside a car. But as soon as police traced the registration, the entire story changed. That Tesla wasn't some forgotten junker. It was registered to a rising star, David. And with that one detail, a tragedy transformed into a scandal. Police immediately locked down the impound lot. Forensic teams in hazmat suits surrounded the car, carefully collecting evidence. Witnesses say the smell was overwhelming, so strong that even seasoned officers covered their faces. What they found inside, according to leaked reports, was horrifying. The body of a teenage girl, wrapped in plastic, partially dismembered. Months of decomposition made identification difficult, but fingerprints and dental records soon confirmed what many feared. It was Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Once that connection was made, the media storm was unstoppable. News vans crowded outside the lot, helicopters hovered overhead, and within hours, global outlets were pushing the headline, "Body of Missing Teen." Found in vehicle linked to musician David, fans scrolled in disbelief. Comment sections exploded, and the music industry, always quick to protect its image, went silent. Investigators wasted no time. That same week, LAPD served a warrant at a Hollywood Hills home where David was reported to be staying. Neighbors described a swarm of police cars, officers carrying out boxes of evidence, and news cameras flashing from every angle. Some claim they saw electronics being seized, laptops, hard drives, even recording equipment. But here's the thing. As of now, David hasn't been charged with anything. He hasn't been arrested. He hasn't even made a public statement. The car was his, yes, but what does that mean? Was he the one driving it? Did someone else have access? Was the vehicle stolen?
Tesla was repoed on September 8th. He started his tour August 5th, 9th. They said the car was sitting for over 30 days before it got repoed. He reported it missing in between that, but it's been sitting before he started his tour. He called to report a Tesla missing. Now chat, anybody in chat, go to Google and say, can I call Tesla If my Tesla is missing, can I call Tesla to track it? Watch what it shows you. To call Tesla, a Tesla of all cars you reported missing. When you can call Tesla and get it tracked, that don't make sense. They said the car was sitting for over 30 days. So from when the car was impounded on the 8th, we can add 31 days plus add some change. That's days, if not a week or more, before he started his tour, bro. Dating a 13-year-old, bro.
Those are the questions investigators now have to untangle. And as if the case wasn't messy enough, the internet added fuel to the fire. Rumors started spreading about a so-called bodyguard linked to David. Screenshots circulated on Discord and Reddit, claiming a Twitch streamer named Mark Morales, better known as Marky Next Door, was somehow connected. Fake FBI wanted posters even popped up, suggesting he was under investigation. But Morales himself came forward to deny everything, calling the screenshots fabricated and the posters completely fake. Still, in the chaos of scandal, rumors move faster than facts. And even though nothing has been confirmed, the whispers only deepen the cloud of suspicion around David. Perception is reality, and in the public eye, the optics are damning. A missing girl, her body discovered in a celebrity's car. For many, that's all the proof they need. The moment Celeste's body was identified, the story stopped being just a police investigation. It became a cultural earthquake. Overnight, David's name shifted from promising young artist to suspect in a nightmare headline. And the reactions came from every direction. The press, the fans, and the brands that once celebrated him. Mainstream media latched onto the case instantly. Networks that once invited him for cheerful interviews were now airing crime scene photos, speculating on timelines and replaying clips of his performances under grim captions. The same outlets that had crowned him the voice of Gen Z heartbreak were now splashing his name alongside words like murder and predator. No charges, no trial, just headlines. On social media, the divide was brutal. Twitter threads dissected his lyrics, especially the haunting lines from Romantic Homicide. TikTok edits resurfaced, now reframed as proof that his art was a confession. And then came the bodyguard rumor. After police raided the Hollywood Hills home, fans on Reddit and Discord began circulating screenshots claiming that Mark Morales, also known as Marky Next Door, was more than just a Twitch streamer, that he was secretly working as David's personal bodyguard. Fake FBI posters popped up, suggesting Morales himself was under investigation. He denied all of it, calling the screenshots fabricated and the posters completely fake. But in the chaos of scandal, denial doesn't always matter. Once a rumor spreads, it takes on a life of its own. Some fans latched onto those supposed connections, convinced it was proof of a deeper conspiracy. Others pointed out the obvious, that Morales had already debunked the claims, but the damage was done. The bodyguard story wasn't just about Morales. It became another layer of suspicion clouding David's image. Some fans posted tearful videos saying they felt betrayed, that the music they once found comfort in was now tainted forever. Others defended him fiercely, insisting that he was innocent until proven guilty, warning that the internet was rushing to judgment without facts. The fandom fractured into two camps, protectors and prosecutors. Meanwhile, the industry moved just as quickly. Within days, Crocs announced it was suspending its partnership. Hollister pulled campaign images. Other potential deals quietly evaporated. Spotify and Apple didn't outright ban his music, but curated playlists quietly dropped him. In an industry that thrives on image, association with scandal is poison. Think about how fast that happened. Just weeks earlier, David was on billboards performing at festivals and being marketed as the next big thing. And now, his name is practically radioactive. No brand wants to be associated with him. No promoter wants to risk booking him. His team hasn't even issued a press release. Silence hangs heavy. And in that silence, the narrative is being written without him. For fans, the fallout feels personal. David wasn't just another artist. He was the relatable kid who sang their pain. To see his name tangled in something so dark creates a sense of betrayal. Music that once felt like therapy now feels contaminated. For some, it's impossible to separate the art from the allegations, and yet others refuse to let go. On Discord servers and fan pages, defenders argue that this is all a setup, that celebrities are often targeted, that people shouldn't believe everything the media spins. It's a battle not just over facts, but over identity. Because for many young fans, defending David means defending the part of themselves his music once healed. This is the chaos of scandal in the digital age. Before the courts even speak, the public has already chosen sides. And in that court, the court of public opinion, verdicts can be harsher and longer lasting than anything a judge could deliver. So here we are, a missing girl found in the worst possible way, a rising star with the world at his feet, suddenly watching it all collapse, and a case that's still wide open, with more questions than answers. Think about the arc of this story. Just 3 years ago, David was a teenager in his bedroom, making songs on a cheap mic, dreaming of something bigger. He got it. Fame, money, tours, sponsorships, fans who tattooed his lyrics on their skin. He lived the dream every young artist imagines. And now, his name is tied to a crime scene. His future depends not on Billboard charts, but on police reports and courtrooms. The same internet that built him is now tearing him apart. One tweet, one TikTok, one headline at a time. What really happened to Celeste Rivas Hernandez? Was this the result of a terrible mistake, an accident covered up, or something far darker? And how did her story, ignored by the media when she first went missing, only explode once a celebrity's name was attached? That's the bitter irony. A family begged for help for over a year, but the world only listened when the music industry's golden child became part of the narrative. For David, silence is both his shield and his curse. Without charges, he could still walk away from this free. But in the court of public opinion, freedom doesn't always equal forgiveness. Every deal lost, every tour canceled, every playlist removal chips away at the empire he built. Even if he's innocent, will his career ever recover? This is where the tragedy spreads. A young girl's life stolen, a family's grief, a fan base shattered, an artist's reputation hanging by a thread, and all of it unfolding live for the world to judge in real time. So I'll leave you with this. Is David a victim of circumstance, his career destroyed by association? Or is there a darker truth waiting to be revealed? The answer hasn't come yet, but when it does, it won't just decide David's future. It'll define how we remember Celeste, how we consume art, and how quickly we're willing to crown a star, only to burn them at the stake when scandal hits. What do you think?